You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, Crusaders? This is your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And today, I'm excited because we've got not one, not two, but three powerhouses of indie comics in the house, baby. These creative maniacs have joined forces like the comic book Avengers, baby, to bring us a brand new Kickstarter project that's going to be dropping real soon called Red Collar. All right. Now, it's about to shake up your pull list, folks. Let me tell you. Now, we're talking about a story with heart, action, and a whole lot of visual oof, just like I like it, baby. So get ready to hear about this wild creative process, their battle plan for Kickstarter domination, baby, and why you need to back this project. All right. Before it takes off faster than, let's say, a rocket strapped to a werewolf. Ow! Now, smash that like button, hit that subscribe, and show some love for these indie comic bosses. The one, the only Timmy Meighan, Kenneth Fontano, and Colt Hoenig, baby. Woo! Welcome to the Comic Crusaders podcast, fellas. How you doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Thanks
What's up, Al?
Well, I'm doing much better now after a little technical glitch, folks. We were talking for a minute and realized that there was a little errors going on. Thank you, StreamYard. Wonderful job as always. But anyway, besides all that, I'm happy to have you guys on to talk about this dope book you got. Colt likes to live in the darkness. All of a sudden, he wants to be mysterious. That's okay. Let him be mysterious. That's what he's trying to do. He's eating probably. He's like, yeah, please let me eat my food. I'm starving. All right. So, listen, we got some folks in the house. Everybody, thank you for joining my Crusaders. Yeah, baby. We got game in the house right there. Here we go. Yeah. Nasi. I hope I said that right.
Long time buddies of mine right there.
Hey.
Salute. Showing some love to the boys. Wait, I love that. Now, let's go, folks. You know what it is. Folks, you know what? I know before we were talking, I had a little different stuff, but let's do this now, right? I love my good old origin stories. So I need to know where each of you are from first. So I'm going to start with Timmy. Where you from, OG?
I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida, but I live in San Diego now, but I'm originally from West Palm Beach, Florida, and my parents are from Belize, so that's my background.
All right, there you go. What about you, Big Ken? Where you from?
I'm from California, and I currently don't live there. I'm actually in Texas, trying to get back to California, so hopefully that can happen.
Want to go back there? All right, well, have fun.
I'm trying to get back there.
That's what the Kickstarter is for.
I'm from Florida as well, Central Florida, North Florida.
All right, bet. All right, and now that I asked you last, let me start with you here, Colt. What was the first thing in fandom overall that you ever fell in love with?
Oh man, so I probably back in the day, my younger brother was more of a comic book collector than I was. He had crates and crates, but I was always a Batman fan. It didn't matter what it was. I liked the aesthetic. I liked the darkness. So that was kind of my first. But later on, like, in fact, getting more into working on this comic kind of revamped if nothing else, just my exposure to comics. But I really love like the Preacher series. That I love his writing, their writing. It's kind of like a pulp fiction, I guess. Maybe people consider it's like a obvious go-to, but I really do like Preacher and Garth Ennis stuff.
I like those. All right, so let me go with my Kenneth. What about you, brother? What was the first thing in fandom overall that you fell in love with?
I think the first thing that I ever saw that pulled me right into comics in specific is the Days of Future Past. Absolutely. And it wasn't even mine. I think it was my cousin's comic book. I just wish I had it. But yeah, that was the first one.
Did you try to steal it? Be honest. Did you try to steal it? Be honest.
No. I tried to trade it for baseball cards that I didn't want, but I couldn't get it out of his hands. So I don't even know if he still got it, but that was
I
the
would have
comic.
bagged that shit. Fuck that. Sorry, cuz. I'm an asshole. Fuck that shit. That's what it was. Mine. What about you, Timmy? Talk to me.
Yeah,
What
I'm
you fuck this
not a comic book guy. I watched Batman the animated series. That's what this the
animation?
really was exposed to. But that world, Bruce Timm, that whole world they created, um, that's my favorite thing I've ever been exposed to. But this is my inception, honestly, to comics. Is this project?
Wonderful. Look at you. All right. So tell me, what's Red Collar all about? Give me that real deal. I
So,
need that pitch right there, like a movie executive.
all right.
For 30
So,
seconds before that
all
triple
right, I'm
S.
gonna try 30 seconds. Here I am. So
Deja vu.
it's got a couple elements. The first thing is the world, Neon City. It is a dark world, kind of like Gotham. You can only take what you're influenced from, but also the music side is important in this because we use a synthwave playlist. I listened to a lot of synthwave when I wrote this story, and it really is incorporated in the kind of stylized details of the comic book. And I think Ken's work helps that pop out. But at the end of the day, it's a pharmaceutical study gone sideways and an origin story that clash and meet in the middle. And so what you think is going to happen doesn't actually pan out. And Ken could even speak to it. When he read the script, he got frustrated at me when some of the elements happened because it hit him so hard. But this is because I was influenced by a lot of movies that are, spy heavy or a lot of conspiracy stuff. That stuff played heavy in this script for me.
All right, bet. So,
Yeah.
so you know what? Before I asked about the Promance and how you guys met, right? Now after this, it's all fresh new questions. I can't wait. Folks, you have no idea. Thank you, technical difficulties. But let's get into the Promance. So I'm gonna start with Timmy this time, though. All right. So talk to me about the Promance. Who did you meet first? How did that happen? And the conversation when you guys said, "Let's create."
So like at the end of the day, Derek and I know each other for almost 20 years, and we used to write stand up together, and I'd have to perform it. We'd go up almost every week in Baton Rouge, and so we did it kind of like a Johnny Carson style, topical humor, no cursing. I never cursed on stage, so I had a really hard challenge to keep it clean every time. But every time we went on stage, it was new material. So I would start with this idea, and then Derek would have these good punchlines and clean up my punchlines. So I leaned on him to be the head writer on that side. And it's funny because now like I had this story and I'm putting this together and it's my idea. It's the story that I had and he helped me clean it up again. So it's like it's only practical that we have this relationship. It seems like you don't know until you really have a project that demands it, that you really find out what kind of essence you guys have working together. And then we were interviewing people to be our artists when we were doing this, turning it into an actual comic, because the idea is what we want it to be a movie, but that's a far-fetched thing these days. And so pragmatically, we could only really make it into a comic, and we interviewed a bunch of people, and Ken's work popped. And so I think anyone who reads this and sees it, my words are only what they are, but for comic book readers, the illustration is what makes it pop, and hopefully that's what stays in your mind is Ken's work. I mean, Ken is the real star in this project, if you ask me.
Absolutely. Hey, man. So, how do you feel that? Obviously, you're happy, but how is it being approached by these guys, to work on a project like this?
First of all, it was amazing, and I can't thank them enough for even giving me like a chance because I am a retired 20-year veteran of the Air Force, and so transitioning. Thank you, I appreciate that. And transitioning from the military to the civilian world is pretty difficult, especially when you want to do something that is outside the box. And by chance, I got their script and it was like right up my alley and so outside the box. And yes, it did upset me, but I guess that's what makes a good story is when you're getting these main characters and they're put into situations that you're like, no, don't do that. I don't want you to be in that situation. And I'm like, okay, well, now I got to draw this. And they had such a good story, and maybe it's just because I'm an artist and I can visualize it, but I already thought the essence was there, just the essence of this time period and this everything else about it. It's
Gotcha.
great.
You were like the Rock at that moment. You smoked what they were cooking.
Pretty much. Yeah. Everything they told me. I was just like, "Nyum, nyum, 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 nyum."
Hey, there we go. And Colt, did any one of these two gentlemen fib about the promance over here? Did they leave anything out, like flowers or anything?
No, they did a pretty good job of covering it. Yeah, we were happy to stumble onto Ken, and in fact, we didn't. It was the reason when you joked about Destiny before. We looked at like two people, but Ken was the first person, and as soon as we got work back, and feedback from Ken, we moved on. So it wasn't even a long search.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It was star search, and that's it. It was easy peasy to decide. But love it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, because Kickstarter is like the Wild West of indie comics, right? Let's be honest here. It's full of opportunity, but it's also a little dangerous as fuck. You know, you're taking a chance, and this is your first project, right? Why did you choose this route, and how are you making sure that this campaign is going to kick butt and doesn't get lost in the tumbleweeds?
Well, I think Derek could speak to. Derek did a lot of project managing on this, so like,
I'm
he's
Derek,
kind of
by
the
the way.
brains behind.
I just have two names.
Sorry, I call him Derek because I've known him. His real name's Colt, but I
Yeah,
call him
me-
Derek. Sorry,
Yeah, I mean,
but Colt.
is Timmy smoking? You know, who the hell is
I got a story. I got a
These
story about
days-
that one.
You can
It's
take
my
it in
fault.
pill form, so I don't have to smoke. I can do it as a pill, or I can shoot it up before the show. But no, Derek is the project manager on this. He did a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We're working with Ink Studios to help us get this off the ground on our like marketing side, our trailer side, and so Derek found those resources that otherwise we wouldn't have found. So it's a lot of luck. We're rolling the dice, you know. But Derek can speak more to that. I mean, he knows like some of the behind the scenes stuff.
And Eagle Book, there goes that page right there. You can sign up and get notified on launch. I have the link right there. It's also in the show notes. Don't you worry. So click that and get some love. I also have a PowerPoint. I'm going to show you some stuff. I got some videos too. Don't you worry, guys. We're going to be showing this off, baby. We're going to be showing this baby off. Wepa! Hey, all right. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right. So talk to me too about, what's the most what the fuck just happened moment that you've had about creating Red Collar before I start showing stuff off? Like, like the kind where they either start stress eating or you question your life choices. Like, what's going on?
Well, I think that's a Ken question because Ken had to do a lot of the storyboarding and he had to do. I mean, Ken, go ahead, take over. I know you had to do a lot.
I
with
think
that stuff.
the one thing that stressed me out the most was the lettering because I had never done lettering. And
oh man, you pop your cherry on lettering with this project?
Yeah, I absolutely did. And
Yeah,
I thank
he did a
my
lot.
Comic Jam buddies and all those Fugitive Poem guys for helping me out and
Oh, Fugitive Poem, yeah, I love them
Yeah.
dudes, man. They're awesome.
yeah, they're awesome. And they all helped me out over there at the Comic Jam and gave me some references and books to look up and that was probably the longest part and most stressful part, definitely, the lettering.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
I mean, he had to take a script and turn it into a comic book, and I mean, there's a lot of things he had to strip out of it that he didn't need, and then he had the storyboard. He did coloring as well. He just didn't do the artist work. I mean, we lean on him for all big three categories, to be honest with you. So he's honestly the star of this podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, don't you worry. I got some questions. We're gonna jump into it. All right, and just one sec. After this question, I'm gonna start showing off some extra goodies. All right. So, but before we do that, if each of you had to describe Red Collar using only emojis, what would they be? No explanations allowed. Let's see how weird this gets. Just OGs.
Wow. Well, I would definitely not use eggplant. I think for this one, I would go with maybe if the waterworks could be blood, that's one of them. I'd go with one of those. You got one there? You got one, Colt?
I don't know if they still have it. Did they ever have a syringe emoji?
Did they?
It was just syringe.
Maybe I'm sure it's just in my brain that someone made a meme that looks like an emoji of a syringe. But yeah, it would have to be a syringe.
I think you're going through one of those effects that people talk about and shit. Like maybe
You can add a keyboard app to your phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right, let me add this stuff to the stage, and I got some questions. I'm gonna start with the big man over here, Big Tim. Actually, all right. Yep. Let me get that. All right. So, Tim, every writer has their origin story. So, what was the life changing event that made you say, "That's it. I'm writing comics," or whatever projects you got into initially, being creative? Did it just happen
Yeah.
after caffeine fuel creative meltdown, or what? What happened?
No, honestly, I had to make a big decision. I mean, I have a family, I have a daughter, I have a wife, and I quit my job a couple of years, 3 years ago to write this script, and it was irking me
Wow.
because I think, I'm gonna be 40 in May, and it was itching. I just couldn't ignore it, and it's just like that thing where you go, if I don't do it now, I'm not gonna do it. So I quit my job, and I had 2 months to write this, and we knocked it out. Like I gave Derek a good amount of pages, and we went back and we rewrote some stuff. And yeah, that's the story. The story is I had a short amount of window in my head because I had to support a family, but I had to quit my job because I'm ADHD or ABCD, HV, whatever it is, and I have to focus on one thing if I'm going to stick with that program. So that's what it is. And thank God this all came together because I really didn't know we would be here in the 2 years since we started this project. It's there's a lot of ups and downs, and that's just how the world works. So I always say to people, hey, to people who are watching, if you have an idea, just try it out, do it. There's a lot of people talk about people doing things and then poo-poo their ideas, but once you get it done, then they can't say you didn't do it, is what I'm saying. So I'm sure Ken feels that way. I'm sure Colt feels that way, but I absolutely feel this in my heart. Is just like when Colt and I were writing comedy. I had to write because I wanted to go on stage. We wanted to be comedy writers. So you had to write and you had to perform, so you didn't have a choice. So that's what
Can
I'd
we
say.
just call him DC Hoenig? That's it. Derek Colt.
I know I keep messing it up.
DC Hoenig, baby. Come
I keep
on, bro.
messing it
That's
up. His really name is Colt.
it. Anyway, anyway.
Timmy's not used to saying Derek or Colt. It used to be Death, just
I
Death.
call him Death. He had a dream about The Wire, and he thought he was in prison for 10 years. He remembers 8 years of it. So he woke up with a beanie on. He looked like Tyron Biggins from Chappelle's
Yeah.
show one morning. And I
Oh
go,
my
what got
God.
into you? And he was trying to sell me cigarettes for commissary. And
Oh,
I go, dude, this guy's death
bro,
row. So I started calling him Death.
bro, I'm about to be 50. I have a friend that's about to be 48, and as we were growing up as teenagers, he would have Vietnam flashbacks, but he was never in Vietnam.
I almost felt sorry for him.
I can relate.
Dude,
Like, what the fuck you
hey.
talking about, bro? Anyway, you're the words guy. So tell me what's harder: writing an epic emotional scene, or figuring out how to word an email that doesn't sound awkward.
This scene. I have to write emails all the time. My line of work. I write emails all day. But go ahead, you guys. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in first.
No, that was for you, bro. That
Oh,
Yep.
was
then you're welcome.
Give
Yeah.
me questions, bro. All right now. And I got one more for you, and then we're gonna be jumping to DC Ho, Nick.
That's a good new nickname.
Yeah, it's just DC, bro. It's just DC.
I'm
All
for
right.
it.
So, what's something Colt did that made you go, "Whoa, that's way cooler than I imagined"? And were you secretly jealous that your words alone couldn't do it justice?
Well, I think it's trying to trim the fat in a lot of these scenes.
Okay.
I tend to ramble on, as you can tell in these 19 minutes we've been on air. It feels like 49 with me talking, but it's trimming the fat. And we did this in comedy. I had these long punchlines that I was like, I sounded like some guy rambling to himself, and he really trimmed it down and. He was able to. I think when you see other people's work, you're able to really see it from a different position and crystallize it for the audience. So I would say that that's what I'd say to that.
Yeah. Let me go over to DC now. Yeah, you're the one turning one into some, working on this. Did you have any holy crap? This is real now moment? The first time you saw, these characters beginning to come to life on page.
Yeah, it was pretty early on. It might have been even with some of the like early character sketches that Ken did, where we were picking out haircuts or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that was along most. Yep.
yeah, like look at that.
Yeah. So because Timmy and I have been talking about Cody, and these other characters like they were real for 2 years. In fact, before Timmy actually started putting pen to paper or typing it out, this idea we bounced around for a year or two before he even started writing it. So we had known Cody in our heads for a long time. So it was probably around the time of the character sketches early on to answer your question. Yeah. It's like, okay, yep. They got some personality. And that is a testament too of how much we gushed over Ken is like he kind of got it. Love it or hate it as an audience or whoever is looking at this. As far as what we had pictured in our head and what Ken brought back to us, it synced up. And so that was part of it. And that even goes beyond how good or bad the art was. It was like he kind of got what we saw.
Dig it. So in working with a writer like Tim, do you how do you guys follow the script to the letter when you're creating the project, or do you kind of go rogue and say that nah, wait a minute, let's make this scene way cooler by doing this, for example? I mean, how's that collaborative process?
A lot of it happens in the writing, is as far as this issue is concerned, this first issue. But there were a couple of things where after we saw some small dialogue, actually there wasn't much. In fact, now that I'm thinking back about it, Ken was able to really pull the scenes with the way Timmy wrote the script was, he's describing the scene. So Ken was able to kind of at least pull from storyboarding and then use his own inspiration. But as far as editing, Timmy and I, we had the structure was when we got deep into it, we would have weekly writing meetings and it would just be like knocking out ideas or, hey, what if this person said this? Or, I was thinking it doesn't really make sense to me if she says this, like I would think she had more, emotion in this moment or whatever it is.
I love how the characters are looking. But let me ask, this is for all three of y'all then. What's the one panel in red color that's so badass that you want to print it out, frame it, and then casually show it to strangers at the local bodega and be like, yo, we made this right here?
That's a Ken question. That should be his.
Ken, what you got? What's the most exclusive one that you're like, yo, I got to show it off? Yeah, you want to show off stuff, bro? Let's go. I'll put you right there on the big screen.
I got the first proof today. The first proof came in today.
Oh my God, he has a physical copy in his hands, folks.
Yeah, I got the first proof. And I'd say one of the pages that Ken did. I mean, Ken did such good pages, man. I gotta be honest with you. This is I mean, there's so much.
Share them with the class here.
Are you worried?
I don't want to get that angle right. But like that's a scene that Ken had to figure out how to do. Sorry, one of my arms is paralyzed. But that's from. But you see that this side, he had to do like an action sequence. It's one of our first pages, and he nailed it. I mean, that's one of those wows. I mean, Ken, do you have another page in your head that you think is like a?
I think for me, it's between either the second cover, because there's two of them that we did, and I think that's the cover that you got there, right? The second cover.
So this is my favorite cover as well. Yeah.
That's between the cover and the last page, because I always feel like I'm like getting better at this. So definitely the last page, I think. Between those two. And
oof. Yeah, man. Yeah, Timmy, when you got that book in today, tell me you were wearing the pens or something. I know you didn't want to get moist when you saw that.
No, I'll be honest with you. I still haven't cleaned up. I kind of just let it ride. So, I mean,
he doesn't make these jokes when we're talking alone.
Hey, dude.
Look, I know. You guys
I was honestly, when I saw it today, it really hit. Like I was like, because I saw this package at my door and it was at a UPS deal, and I go, holy cow! that's the craziest timing that it's here. But honestly, this is the oh crap moment for me, is that we actually have our physical copy after
Yeah.
working on this for 2 years.
Woo.
This is the oh crap moment for us.
Yeah.
And I think that should all be shared across the board. But honestly, like, you know, writing it is one thing, but Derek project managing, doing all the stuff that people don't know, but it takes Derek's work and Ken's art to get to this.
And
You
if
know,
I may
so
say something, just to get this out of the way, like Derek equally did like the same thing that he did for Timmy for my art, because there were some inconsistencies, some spelling errors, some things that I missed that I would not have caught if it wasn't for this anal retentive motherfucker right here. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm just here to make sure everyone has all their fingers and toes and put a little Midas touch on it.
That's all. But you know, you're walking a little weird, but it's all right. Yo, you know, legit.
oh my god.
So Ken, let me ask you here, bro. You know, you also, you know, like I say, this is one of your first lettering projects. You know, the person who makes sure people, you know, don't read this comic like it's an IKEA instruction manual. You know, what's the secret to making words pop? You know, that you learn without making readers' eyes bleed.
I think the first part is probably just a matter of learning the foundation of lettering, because that's a big part of it, and then taking that foundation and just being creative with it. Because I think at first I found it really hard to take letters and be creative with just the letters. But I think as I went on, I got a lot more creative, a lot more courageous with trying to bring these, you know, SFX and all the regular lettering and bubbles and stuff like that. Just trying to be more creative and more, you know, forth with it. Just trying to be better.
And let's talk about this character design. Let me go back and introduce us to this wonderful cast. So, who's Cody?
So Cody is he's a writer for a music magazine, like a, you know, kind of a cult magazine, Cult. And he's friends with a guy named Michael Frank, so they are both journalists, but he's on the like more senior side. He's of the grunge music, the synth wave, the indie rock stuff, and that's his world. He's also a heroin user, and so he's trying to balance that whole lifestyle. And he's, you know, in his little bit older years, he's in his more I should have something accomplished years. He's on the face value, he seems like he has it. He's a rock star for writers and journalists in that world, but on the inside, he's like everyone else. He's battling demons, you know. So that's who Cody Drago is.
And who's that? Duma?
Duma, yeah. So Duma is the clinical director, and Ken did a great job with creating her illustratively, because I really wanted her to not be like this bombshell looking lady. I wanted her work to speak for itself. So she's a person who's kind of unassuming, doesn't put her hair up, kind of has a short hairstyle. It was on purpose, because when you're writing characters, you know they have a function. And so for her, I had a clear function. She doesn't lead anyone either way. She's a very by the books person, very you know, clinical. You know, she's very clinical in everything she does. So Ken did a great job creating her, but she's a clinical director. She created this drug called Helix, which is a wound healing drug, which is supposed to be, you know, like for you know, if anyone has a bad wound. I work in healthcare, so we see people who have bad wounds, and a miracle drug like this would change the world. It would change the market. And so she works for a Fortune 500 type company called Olamec, and she's a clinical director, and you'll see it play out. Her ideology versus Marcin Gould, who is the CEO.
A man over here says, "I need that drug." He got some back issues.
that's
I need that drug. I guess.
Shout out to my brother.
Oh, that's so good.
Jonathan.
And what? Who's Gigi right here? Gina Gill.
Which one?
Oh, Gina
She-
Gill is Cody Drago's girlfriend.
Oh,
She's
Yeah,
a bartender at the nightclub, and the, you know, like it's a concert, kind of like when Prince was in Purple Rain, that concert hall, which is a nightclub as well. That's the world. That's a world that also influenced me. Prince is a huge influence on me, and she's a bartender there. And she's his girlfriend. Hendrik Collins is the kind of like the IT guy, coding guy, coding for the pharmaceutical company. The systems guy. So he plays a very, very, very important role. He just doesn't seem like he does in the script. But once you see it play out, it all makes sense. He's another by the books guy who has to make a very hard decision. Morrison Gould is our, bravado. He's going to be on American Greed, but in this script, he's trying to get on television at every turn. He's trying to be on. He's always on. And so not only is he the CEO, he's like the head of marketing. And so he's getting on shows like Charlie Rose, like the Today Show type shows in that world of Neon City. So he's a guy flashy. He's trying to get his drug to market by any means. And it's, you see it all kind of play out.
Ideas.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Michael Frank. I gotta take this whole thing off. Michael Frank is our bleeding heart. He's our bleeding heart. He's the guy who's the everyman's journalist. Kind of my everyman's journalists are a bunch of people. It's Simon Hirsch, it's Matt Taibbi, it's Walter Kern, it's there's a bunch of people that influence me in my life. I always love journalism. Journalism is my favorite thing to digest. And so he's an amalgamation of those people. He's a guy who goes and weeds out any white collar crime in this red collar world. And, he's the guy that everyone fantasizes of being about as a journalist. He's award-winning kind of Pulitzer type.
Love it. And folks, here we go. We got those tidbits. I got two videos, I believe, too. But let me go over here to Ken over here. I want you to be honest with me for a minute, Ken.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten revenge on a writer or artist by secretly hiding a weird Easter egg, in your art or the lettering somewhere, like replacing the sound effect with like a subliminal message?
No, I have not. However, I have thought about it.
Thank you.
Not to these two. Not to these two.
I love it. I'm just fucking with you.
There's still time. We got two more issues, Ken.
Open that proof up again, Timmy.
Open that proof.
There's a whole lot of members that you can find.
I'm gonna ask you guys because this baby launches on the 7th. All right, so I have 3 reviews that were sent that I saw in the folder. I just want to make sure. Can I show it? Because I have Cody teaser, Michael teaser, Duma teaser, and I got the Red Collar trailer. What would you like me to play?
Probably the Red Collar trailer first, right?
Yeah, the trailer.
All right.
You want to pick one of those? Is that what you're asking?
No, I just want to make sure they're all gravy. So I'll
play them all. You're good.
Absolutely.
Right, so let's go, folks. Check it out. The debut over here of the Red Collar full trailer for this Kickstarter. It's going to be launching on 3/7, baby, by this awesome team. Check it out.
I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you want to play tough and want to hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you want to play tough and want to hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you want to play tough and want to hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that.
That's so dope.
That was a very, very sexy trailer. Yeah. I like the music. I like the energy behind it. What? Now we got some teasers too, because these guys ain't fucking around. All right, so let's start getting to know some of the characters. Yeah, I love it. These dudes ain't playing. I love it. So we started with Drago. Cody Drago. I like the name that he sound gangster. Let's start with that teaser right here. Check it out.
As the underground music writer for the Neon Sentinel, Cody Drago lives half of his life amidst the flashes of a slow strobe light, and the other half in the darkness in between. Unlike his friend and colleague at the Sentinel, Michael Frank, who chases white-collar power players shielded behind high-rises and four-name firms, Cody gets unfettered access to his subjects, so much so that he shares many of their vices. although Cody shares the same airways with Michael Frank. Their experience of success is worlds apart, as Cody is needle-deep in his addiction to heroin. Still, he is a respected voice in the music scene. If Cody Drago mentions a band, people listen. When an outbreak hits Neon City's worst addicts, and the sinister dynamics of a miracle cure begin to tear the city apart from the bottom up, Cody and his close friends in the underground are at risk of dying in vain. And after miraculously being saved from an overdose at Broken Neon nightclub, Cody will wrestle with an all-new, very unnatural addiction. Or shall we say, craving. Is Cody willing to face the worst parts of himself to satisfy his new lust for vengeance? Or will Neon City eat him alive to show him how it's done?
That's awesome.
I want to see
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
Colt's work. Colt did that trailer. That's a Colt DJ Clue drop right there.
Listen, that's it. We is now DC. That's his new name on the show.
That's
Oh,
right.
DC.
It's DC.
Get
baby.
it right.
And it ain't
Yeah.
diet either.
Yo, look, we got people asking, dude, who made these clips? Amazing work. I mean, listen, we got two
Appreciate
more to
that.
go. But let me ask, you taught something there that we didn't mention about that particular character, heroin addiction, another addiction. Well, I come from New York, and unfortunately, I've dealt with that type of addiction within people that I've loved. So it's like, why that particular addiction? Did it come from experience through maybe knowing someone or something? How that come up?
Yeah, there are a couple people in my life that have been hooked on drugs, and I mean, I can't lie. I was in college. I've done stuff, but I haven't done this. But
Yeah.
I'll say, this was to me a fitting drug because it's kind of looked down on. You know what I mean? Like you could be an alcoholic in America, and they'll make an ad for you. But if you're using heroin, then you're relegated to the streets and to tunnels and alleys. So I feel like these are the types of people that are going to be overlooked. And I could use it as a function in the script to show how this wound care drug would interact with those types, because these are the subjects that are the clinical trial patients. So a lot of them are going to the clinic to try this drug because their stuff has gotten so bad. And at the same time, an autoimmune disease is broken out in the city from IV drug use. So they're going to this clinic to use this new drug, like you go to a clinical trial to see if it works out. And so I just felt like it was very fitting that heroin is the drug to use. And let's not lie, 100,000 people are dying a year from overdosing on opiates in our country. So it can't be overlooked. So it's a vice that can't be overseen, if you ask me.
Good
And
message.
it lend itself well to just in the story, almost like an alternate history where if you would imagine how like HIV hit, as people were learning about it, it's that same kind of vibe in the 80s where this disease this outbreak is hitting, starting with the lowest of people, but it's actually started from the top.
Gotcha, and producing this massive fear. I
And
understand.
then there's an unnatural. We're teasing it, but there's an unnatural element to this.
There's a little
fantasy horror.
Little origins, a little Easter egg in there for you fans of teeth. And
oh God, not teeth.
Well, not the movie teeth, but
Don't. That movie scared the shit out of me.
Get your hooks. I know. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, Mike, let's go to this Michael Frank teaser now. We have two more members to meet, right? So, wait. We saw Cody, right? Did we see Mike?
Yeah.
No, yeah, and I went all out for Cody. The next two I think are shorter, about half the.
Yeah, they are.
But just as impressive.
All right, bet. So let's go into Michael Frank.
Neon City's only traffic light on the highway of white-collar corruption. Michael Frank is the most respected journalist at his employer, the Neon Sentinel. and most decorated in the field. Being as prolific of a beat financial crimes reporter as Michael is, he has never abandoned his roots, as he is a regular on the local indie news and music show that gave him his start. After experiencing the spotlight for a recent story, Michael Frank is dragged into the shadows by an unnamed source that has information that could bring down multiple institutions in Neon City. Is Michael Frank willing to press print on a network of shadows?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. As I watch these, all I'm thinking is, damn, I would like to see these like new style Sunday comic strips done like this, and you could give us origin stories that last a minute about characters every Sunday. So instead of getting a 12-panel old school comic strip, we get a 1-minute video every Sunday. We can make that, digital Sunday comics. Think about some shit like that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I mean, I own the rights on Colt for another 5 years, so you're right. I should I'll be able to. Ken's a free agent. He's gonna look for a Luka Doncic type deal soon, but Derek, I got the rights to
be traded.
No.
Folding on the show right now, folks. And now, lastly, we're gonna finish up with the Duma teaser. Check this one out, baby.
She is an ambitious clinical director at Olamic Pharmaceutical, Neon City's upstart startup. Her patent, Helix, could revolutionize the wound care industry. Duma is the proverbial hamster on the wheel. After working long shifts at Olamic, she continues working on her wound care drug at her private lab in her brother's nightclub, Broken Neon. During the clinical trials of Helix, huge side effects are being experienced by their test subjects. The CEO of Olamic, Marzin Gould, makes some executive decisions that could see Duma's patent make it to market, but at a life-changing risk. Duma quickly learns that the term, doing whatever it takes, has a whole new meaning, as she is in a race with the suits at her company to see this drug to market.
Those are crazy. I can't believe you did all that.
What? It's fire. Whereby you see what this story is about.
That's
you see
crazy.
the madness. You see the artistry. You see the tension, the drama that's being built here. Come on, folks. This is crazy, crazy. Now, I want to ask you guys this. I have 2 more questions before we go. You know what I mean? Because I know you guys got to get busy because, we got to make sure all these issues finished. You already got that proof. So we got to make sure that the rest come out and it looks good. There's no typos. So please read through that properly. All right. What's the one thing that you guys hope Red Collar does for readers? And please do not say entertain them. I mean, do you want to make them laugh, cry, or do you want them to completely rethink their life choices?
Should I go first? Well, to me, I really want to throw you off. There are movies that I've watched that really influenced my writing, and Parallax View, Marathon Man. These are movies that, even There Will Be Blood, these are movies that I keep in my head. Three Nights of the Condor. These are things that stay in my brain. These movies, after I watch them, they stay with me, and I still think about little elements. And so, to me, I hope I throw you around and not just give you a generic type of storyline where everyone's happy and satisfied at the end. You got to give a little to get a little. And I hope we've given it our all to give you an experience. And that's what I'll say. I hope I throw you around mentally when you read this Ken's work in action, basically.
He wants to give us a mental whoop ass, he said, folks. I love it. Let's go.
From pillar to post. John Cena.
Oh shit, man. Come on, bro. I won't see you. I won't see you. All right. So Ken, talk to me. What you want people to get the book?
Yeah, I think for me, whenever I've ever drawn something or created anything, I've wanted to shock people, and I've almost wanted to hurt them. So if you've ever looked at any of my stuff, anybody that knows me, some of the stuff I draw is monstrous in a lot of ways. And that's what I'm hoping for this, and that's why I love the story so much, because even me reading the script before drawing it, like, that shit hurt me, and I was upset. So that's what I want to do for other people when they read this.
Nice. You want to bring and get those feelings in. What about you, DC? Now you have been given a new name in this podcast.
I like it.
Man, both those guys nailed it with their answers. But I think what I want, I guess maybe from an operational aspect, I want people to be able to like see this and get it with zero friction, where it almost feels like reading history, and kind of be able, I know that's the goal of every kind of narrative creator, is to help people suspend belief, but that's kind of what I want is for people to kind of like accept that easily as if it were a history book.
Excellent. So I got two more questions. With this one, let me say, all right, picture this, fellas. Red Collar is getting the big old Hollywood treatment. Who's playing the lead? Who's directing? And most importantly, how do we make sure the studio doesn't ruin it with some ridiculous CGI nonsense?
I got this. So I I thought about this for a while, and I'm one of those fantastical thinkers. I was like, oh, like that little bit of Kanye. Everyone has a little bit of Kanye in them.
Oh, God.
Where I was like, oh yeah, when I get this call,
he's not Tay. We could call him Tay then, instead of Tim, it's Tay.
Tay. I'll take
Tim Ye.
Tim Ye.
Tim Ye.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, but I love my favorite movie is Drive, because I feel like Drive gets everything done in a short amount of time. It doesn't keep you for too long. Those are the movies that I reference. They're from the 80s and 60s, and they're just a lot longer. But I would like the director's name is Nick Refn. What's his Refn? I believe that's his name. Or Aronofsky. I would like Aronofsky to do it, because he did such a good job with Black Swan, and he's done Requiem for a Dream. He's a very outside the box thinker. It could be other people, but I had those in mind because I think they're gritty enough. They might make a movie I'm afraid to watch, and I'm not big on horror movies, but I've watched their movies because they're gritty, especially what Aronofsky has done with heroin users. Like that stuff speaks to me. But if it was the director of Drive, I would take it, because that's my favorite movie of all time. But yeah, that's in my Marston Gould. We were talking about, was it Billy? Not Billy. What's the guy's name? Derek knows the names. He knows every guy's name. Who was Marston Gould going to be played by?
Originally, I forgot his name now. The actor who was in the Werewolf in Paris and That Thing You Do.
Okay. Guy, yeah, what's his name? I forget. But Cody Drago would be Remy Malik. But I'm open to new concepts, new characters, because a star is born every time people hit the screen. So I'd give anyone a shot. Just give me a shot is what I say.
Well, you're shooting your shot with this one, baby. Not in that way, you dirty-minded folks.
I'm texting my eggplant over. Yeah.
Hey, but let me tell you, these guys are about to get that right here. I need you guys to support this Kickstarter. This baby is launching on the 7th, all right, of March. All right, so it's Red Collar #1. I mean, they're doing it, all right? It's a fire project. You've seen these videos already. You've seen some of the artistry. You've seen these characters. You've heard someone's story. Listen, there's money. By then, taxes are coming in, so don't bullshit. You guys got some bread. Don't be lying to me. Don't be lying to us.
At least go follow our Instagram right now, just at least so you can say that you saw something, and right you can.
Those Instagrams are right there. Look at it. You can follow the whole team all over Timmy right there on the Insta of the Red Dollar Comic. Colt, or Derek, as we call him on this show from now on, DC. You go. It was that I've seen it. Look at that. I don't know what he's seen, but he's seen it. All right, and then we go follow Big Ken, Kenneth Fontano art right there. Kicking ass. So talk to me, fellas. This is the last question I have. Right, we talked about. All right, we got this Red Collar #1, but what's the overall plan? What's the first arc looking like issue wise?
So
Tres. We got 3
so
planned right now.
we have 3 issues planned. We're on our first leg of the journey. This one is the first leg. We have 2 more coming out, and each of them have a cliffhanger. So it's not it's not gonna be boring. It's not gonna be um, you know, it's not gonna be waste of your money. And honestly, this is a different story. This is a different story. And Ken's work is an entirely different world. So we invite you, please. Anything helps to help us get this project off the ground. But we're blessed to get to this point.
And can you tease any early bird specials for those that right now? Go to the page, sign up, right, and turn on that notify me on launch button. Click that. Like, what's up? You guys have any early bird specials planned where people are gonna get some sweet deals if they get ready to notify when that baby goes live?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do. I think within the first 48 hours of launch, we got early birds. I don't remember exactly, but you're gonna save, a few dollars on the digital, maybe $5. You're saving on the paperback, and we're still building it out in the last minute, throw in some more rewards and stretch goals. But yeah, early bird, sign up. You will get a discount for sure.
Yeah. DC and Ken apparently have taken photos of Timmy and the George Costanza style. If you remember that sci-fi episode. So, that'll be one of the early bird specials. There's only like 20 of them, from what I understand, right, bro?
However I can help.
And he signed him with his foot.
Oh shit, bro.
Well, I'm down an arm, No, so yeah, and we Derek. Yeah, I really do. I got one pterodactyl, like a baby T-Rex arm. But what I say is that we have backing goals. So as we have more people that back us, we're giving out comics, other comics. So we're not just promoting ourselves. We're promoting other comic books at the same time. So if you help us reach our stretch goals, we'll also give you free comics of people that we support.
Ooh, there we go. You hear this? You spending some money against a dope new universe over here, right? The Red Collar You. And then we're gonna get some dope indie comics. Get on that early bird. You see my man, he has an arm down because he's been writing so much. His arm has gone totally numb. Either that or other things that we can't discuss on this program. Who knows? You know what I mean? But
Text me. Ask your doctor if my arm's right for you. And we can also get written into the script. You want to be killed in the comic book. You want a line or two in there. And I'm not talking about the finest china, but if you want to get a line in there, we have means of getting that to you, so to speak. So
that's cool. That's different. Most people just offer hey, I'll get you in there somewhere as part of the crowd. But that's nice to be able to throw a line or two, like you're an extra in a movie. That's actually pretty cool. I like that idea very much. Again, folks, if you want to partake in that, it's just very simple. Go to this page right there. Support that Kickstarter, baby. I'm going to add it to stage, right? When you click that tiny URL button, it's going to take you to this page. That's the right one, all right? Ain't no fakes there. Get that notify me on launch. A big salute. You got 20 followers already. You know what I mean? It's your first created. It is Shoestring Comics. But let's not hang them by the shoestring. Let's make sure that shit turns into a big old rope. And they're going to be pulling on up and making that bank, baby. Making that bank on this Dope Fire project. Please follow the whole team on the Instagrams, Red Dollar Comic. I've seen it. And Kenneth Fontano art. There we go. You got to do it. Every time you hear it like that, well, yeah, you know. This is what it is, bro. He's the big bosses right here. I dig it, folks. Okay, show the love to independent comics. I appreciate everyone that has tuned in over here today. I love you guys. What you got, Timmy? Any last words?
Can I say one more thing? Go
ahead, brother.
We honestly would like we're so grateful. We thank you so much for having us on. Honestly, this is the first exposure we've had publicly. And you do such an awesome job. Your energy is so powerful, huh? No, I'll be honest. We're grateful for any opportunity, and I think you do an awesome job DJing this. And I've seen a lot of your episodes, and you come out with so much energy, and I think it's so beautiful, man. I hope you hear that more. But we're very grateful that you considered having us on. Honestly.
Well,
Thank you so
I
much.
love comic books. I love creators like yourselves that are brave enough to put your stuff out there, you know, and that's being brave. I can't do that. Yeah, I do this, sure, but I can't do what you guys do. Yeah, I don't believe I have that talent just yet or that skill. So when you guys put yourself out there like that, yeah, that's a lot, and I respect that. So that shit should be celebrated because you're trying to entertain us too. Give us some fun stuff. Take us away from this madness of this world, and it's fucking mad nowadays, is it not?
Mhm.
So it's like, thank you for, giving us those moments just to get the fuck out this world, man, for real. And I think Red Collar right here is definitely gonna do some shit and make us go wild. It maybe scare us because it's like shit. When you read this, it's like, you know what? I think this could happen. I can't wait. I'm digging it. Thank you, Game, for subscribing. And that's my boy Big Tommy. Now listen, he says, I'm the man. No, Tommy's the man. And if you have not done his show, World at War Comics, if you've not done his show, my man Tommy, let me tell you, you're missing out too. Please go to him. Wonderful, positive energy as well. We're all here to support independent comics, independent creators, great books, and folks like you. So that's my man Tommy. Thank you, homie, for showing love too, man. That's a fellow Crusader. All you Crusaders, y'all rock out. So y'all kill it. You know what? Again, one more time, those links. Please, Kickstarter, that tiny URL right there. Look up the Red Collar, baby, all right? And pop that collar and make it rain with that money, baby, all right? It's Almega. It is Timmy Meighan. It is D.C. Hoenig. That's his new name right there, all right? And Ken is Fontano, all right? It's the Comic Crusaders, baby, in the building. Hasta la próxima. Much love. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.